A very good morning to all of you, my dear friends. Today, I welcome you once again in part 5 of Knowledge Series on Model GST Law. I intend to cover two sections in this part. One is section 14, which deals with the change in effective rate of tax in case of supply of services, and the other section is section 15, which is one of the most important sections under the Model GST Law because it deals with the value of taxable supplies, that is the valuation. Now, without wasting much of the time, coming to the topic straight, section 14, as I said, deals with the change in rate of tax in respect of supply of services. It means this section pertains to only supply of services. Number 1. Number 2, we all remember that there are provisions under service tax also, wherein if there is any change in the effective rate of tax, then how it has to be dealt with. If the services are provided before the change in effective rate of tax, what will be the point of taxation? And in case the services are provided after the effective rate of tax, but the payment is received before it, what will be the point of taxation? So similar provisions are there in the Model GST law also in respect to supply of services. Now subsection 1 of section 14, it deals with and provides as under, notwithstanding anything contained in section 13, the time of supply in cases where there is change in effective rate of tax in respect of services shall be determined in the following manner, namely. So this is the theme line, that whatever is mentioned under section 13, but in a situation where there is change in effective rate of tax, then the time of supply of services will be determined as under. There are two clauses, subclause A, or I would say clause A of subsection 1 of section 14, which provides for a situation wherein the taxable services are provided before the change in effective rate of tax, and clause B of subsection 1 of section 14, which provides about the situation where the services are provided after the change in effective rate of tax. So we have to understand how the time of supply will be determined in case the change in effective rate of tax is there. So let us start with clause A. Clause A deals with the determination of point of supply in cases where the services are provided before the change in effective rate of tax. Again, there are three subclauses to clause A. Subclause 1, it provides that where the invoice for the same, that is the service, where the invoice for the service has been issued and the payment is also received after the change in effective rate of tax. My dear friends, please remember, this is a situation wherein the services are already provided before the change in effective rate of tax. But subclause 1 provides where the invoice as well as the payment both are received after the change in effective rate of tax. Then what will be the time of supply? In this situation, the time of supply will be the date of receipt of payment or the date of issuance of invoice, whichever is earlier. तो सर पहला सिचुएशन वो है जहां पे आपने सर्विसेज पहले दे चुके हो, इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स के चेंज होने से पहले आप सर्विसेज दे चुके हैं. उसका सब क्लॉज 1 है जहां पे आपने सर्विसेज तो पहले दे दी लेकिन आपको पेमेंट भी इफेक्टिव रेट चेंज होने के बाद मिला और इनवॉइस भी आपने बाद में रेज किया. तो वो सिचुएशन में टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई होगा डेट ऑफ इनवॉइस, दैट इज डेट ऑफ इश्यूएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस और द डेट ऑफ रिसीव्ड ऑफ पेमेंट विच एवर इज अर्लियर. इन दोनों में से जो डेट पहले होगी दैट डेट विल बी रिगार्डेड एज टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज इन दिस सिचुएशन. नाउ सब क्लॉज 2. Subclause 2 provides where the invoice has been issued prior to change in effective rate of tax, but the payment is received after the change in effective rate of tax. Invoice आपने पहले ही दे दिया है, यानी आपने सर्विसेज भी पहले दी हैं और इनवॉइस भी पहले दे दिया, लेकिन पेमेंट आपका चेंज इन इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स के बाद आया है. तो इन दिस सिचुएशन द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी द डेट ऑफ इशुएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस बिकॉज दैट इज बिफोर the change in effective rate of tax. So that will be the time of supply of service. Now सब क्लॉज थर्ड, ये ऐसा बोलता है सर कि वेयर द पेमेंट इज रिसीव्ड बिफोर द चेंज इन इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स बट द इनवॉइस इज इशूड आफ्टर द चेंज इन इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स. So in this situation also, as we all know in service tax, even if we are receiving advance, now the same applies to GST also. Even if we receive advance, that is taxable. So in this situation also, the date of receipt of payment will be the time of supply of services. तो सर ये पहली सिचुएशन थी जहां पे इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स के चेंज होने से पहले आपने सर्विसेज दे दी हैं. वहां पे 3 सिचुएशंस आपको बताई गई है. पहली सिचुएशन जहां पे इनवॉइस भी और पेमेंट भी दोनों ही बाद में आए, रेट ऑफ टैक्स चेंज होने के बाद आए. तो उस सिचुएशन में इन दोनों में से जो पहले होगा, यानी डेट ऑफ इश्यूएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस और डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट. दूसरी सिचुएशन है जहां पे आपने इनवॉइस पहले इशू कर दिया है चेंज ऑफ रेट से, लेकिन पेमेंट आपका बाद में आया है. तो इनवॉइस आपने पहले कर दिया, इसलिए इनवॉइस की डेट आ जाएगी, टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस. तीसरा सिचुएशन जहां पे पेमेंट पहले मिल गया है लेकिन इनवॉइस आपका बाद में बना है चेंज इन रेट ऑफ टैक्स से, तो वो सिचुएशन में डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट विल बी रिगार्डेड एज द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. सो दिस इज क्लॉज ए ऑफ सबसेक्शन 1 of section 14. Now clause B, as I said, it deals with the situation wherein the services are provided after the change in effective rate of tax. Again there are certain sub clauses. पहला सब क्लॉज क्या प्रोवाइड करता है सर? द फर्स्ट सब क्लॉज of clause B of section 14 provides where the payment is received after the change in effective rate of tax but the invoice has been issued prior to change in effective rate of tax. Remember, this is a situation where the services are provided after the change in effective rate of tax. तो सर यहाँ पे वो क्या बोलना चाह रहा है कि जो पेमेंट है that is received after the date of change in effective rate और इनवॉइस जो है वो पहले इशू हो चुका है, तो ये सिचुएशन में टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट, बिकॉज वी आर डीलिंग विद अ सिचुएशन वेयर इन द सर्विसेज आर रेंडर्ड आफ्टर द चेंज इन इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स. तो दिस वाज सब क्लॉज 1 ऑफ क्लॉज बी ऑफ सब सेक्शन 1 ऑफ सेक्शन 14. नो सब क्लॉज 2. Sub clause 2 provides where the invoice has been issued and the payment is received before the change in effective rate of tax, then the time of supply will be the date of receipt of payment or the date of issuance of invoice, whichever is earlier. सर ये वो सिचुएशन है जहां पे सर्विसेज आपने चेंज इन इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ टैक्स के बाद देनी प्रोवाइड की दी हैं, बट सब क्लॉज 2 प्रोवाइड करता है कि यहां पे आपको पेमेंट भी पहले मिल गया और इनवॉइस भी आपने पहले इशू किया है, यानी दोनों चीज एडवांस में हुई है. तो ये सिचुएशन में दोनों में से जो अर्लियर डेट होगी, इधर द डेट ऑफ पेमेंट दैट इज द डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट और द डेट ऑफ इश्यूएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस, व्हिचएवर इज अर्लियर. दिस इज सब क्लॉज 2 ऑफ क्लॉज बी ऑफ सबसेक्शन 1 ऑफ सेक्शन 14. नाउ सब क्लॉज 3. सब क्लॉज 3 प्रोवाइड्स where the invoice has been issued after the change in effective rate of tax but the payment has been received before the change in effective rate of tax, then the time of supply will be the date of issuance of invoice. सर तीनों क्लॉज जो सब क्लॉजेस हैं क्लॉज बी के, वो वापस एक बार अगर देखें तो सबसे पहले तो जो क्लॉज बी है वो एप्लीकेबल है उन सिचुएशंस में जहां पे आपने सर्विसेज बाद में दी हैं इफेक्टिव रेट ऑफ चेंज के. उसमें सब क्लॉज 1 है वो ये प्रोवाइड करता है कि आपकी पेमेंट जो है वो बाद में मिली है लेकिन इनवॉइस आपने पहले इशू कर दी, तो उस सिचुएशन में टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट. सब क्लॉज 2 है वो ये बोलता है कि आपने इनवॉइस और पेमेंट दोनों ही चेंज इन इफेक्टिव रेट से पहले रिसीव कर ली, तो ये सिचुएशन में इधर द डेट ऑफ इश्यूएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस और द डेट ऑफ रिसिप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट विच एवर इज अर्लियर विल बी द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस. एंड सब क्लॉज 3 बोलता है कि आपने इनवॉइस बाद में इशू किया लेकिन पेमेंट पहले रिसीव कर ली, तो ये सिचुएशन में सर डेट ऑफ इश्यूएंस ऑफ इनवॉइस विल बी द टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस. सो दीज वर द 2 सिचुएशंस. क्लॉज ए which deals with the situation wherein the services are provided before the change in effective rate of tax, and situation number 2 which was providing the services are being provided after the change in effective rate of tax. Now there is an explanation also inserted which says for the purpose of this section, the date of receipt of payment will be the date on which you have credited in your books of accounts or the amount has been credited in your bank account, whichever is earlier. या तो आपने अपनी बुक्स में जिस दिन क्रेडिट किया पेमेंट रिसीव दिखा दिया, या फिर जिस दिन आपके बैंक में वो क्रेडिट हो गया, उन दोनों में से जो भी डेट पहले होगा दैट डे विल बी रिगार्डेड एज द डेट ऑफ रिसीप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट. Now it says by way of a proviso that provided that the date of receipt of payment shall be the date of credit in the bank account when such credit in the bank account is after 4 working days from the date of change in effective rate of tax. तो सर ये ध्यान देने का है, I am repeating it again, provided that the date of receipt of payment shall be the date of credit in the bank account when such credit in the bank account is after 4 working days from the date of change in the effective rate of tax. तो सर मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि आज मैंने अपनी बुक्स में जमा कर लिया, क्रेडिट कर लिया, लेकिन मेरी बैंक में 5 दिन के बाद वो डिपॉजिट दिखाया जा रहा है, देन इन दिस केस द डेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट और द डेट ऑफ रिसीप्ट ऑफ पेमेंट विल बी the date on which it is credited in my bank account, because now it is after 4 working days from the date of change in effective rate of tax. So my dear friends, this was section 14 of the model GST law, which provided about the determination of time of supply of services where there is change in effective rate of tax. Now let us move towards one of the most important sections of the model GST law, which deals with the valuation, that is value of taxable services. Section 15 of the CGST Act, that is model GST law. This section has been divided into subsections, 4 subsections. Subsection 1 provides that the value of a taxable supply, either goods or services, shall be the transaction value. Now the question arises here, what does the term transaction value means? My dear friends, as per my understanding is concerned, and if asked to me, I would say the value in which a particular transaction is entered into shall be the transaction value. Now let us see what subsection 1 of section 15 provides and how does it explains the term transaction value. First thing is, there is no definition provided of the transaction value. It simply says transaction value is the price actually paid or payable for the said supply of goods and or services where the supplier and the recipient of the supply are not related and the price is the sole consideration for the supply. So if we try to break this definition of transaction value, we can say that transaction value is that value which is actually paid or which becomes payable against the supply of service or goods. Number 1. Number 2 is such transaction shall be entered between two persons who are not related. So here we need to understand what does the term related persons mean. And third limb is that the price or the transaction value should be the only and only consideration against such supply. That means there should not be any additional consideration. It should be the sole consideration. So if these 3 conditions are satisfied, then we can say that the transaction value should be the value of taxable supply of goods and services. I am repeating again, any taxable supply of goods and services shall be valued at the transaction value. This is the provision of subsection 1 of section 15. Now there are 3 conditions which needs to be satisfied for a value to be determined as a transaction value. First is the price that is actually paid or payable against a supply of service or goods. The transaction entered into between two persons should be a transaction which is actually entered into between the persons who are not related. That means second condition is the persons who are entering into the transaction should not be related. And third condition is that the price which is being paid or which is being made payable shall be the sole consideration for the purpose of such supply of service or goods. So this is subsection 1 of section 15, which deals with the valuation. Now subsection 2 provides certain inclusions to be made in the value arrived at subsection 1. What are those inclusions? There are 8 inclusions which are provided in the subsection 2. We'll touch upon each of those inclusions one by one, but simple is the transaction value which we have determined under subsection 1. These are certain additions or inclusions to be made in that transaction value for the purpose of leviability of GST. So my dear friends, now let us understand what are all those 8 inclusions to be made in the transaction value determined under subsection 1. First is any amount paid by recipient that are obligation of supplier to pay. Suppose I am a supplier and Mr. X is the recipient. So if I have to pay something which actually Mr. X is paying, that value should be included in the transaction value determined under subsection 1. This is clause 1. I believe it is clear. Any amount paid by the recipient, that is Mr. X, that are obligation of supplier, that is I. What I was supposed to pay is being paid by Mr. X, that is the recipient person, the person who is recipient. This amount shall be included in the transaction value. Second clause, it says money value of goods or services provided free or at concession by the recipient. If the recipient is providing something to me either freely or on concessional basis, then such value has to be included in the transaction value. Money value of goods or services, either he is supplying some goods or he is supplying some services free of cost or maybe at a concessional rate, then the money value of that particular supply of goods or services being made by the recipient should be added to my transaction value. This is clause 2. Clause 3. Clause 3 provides royalties and license fee payable by recipient as a condition of supply. Now Mr. X is a recipient. He is paying me certain royalty or the license fee or to someone else, then that payment of royalty or license fee by the recipient against the supply made by me shall be added in the transaction value. And remember, this payment of royalty or license fee shall be paid against a condition for the supply made by me. This is clause 3. Clause 4. Clause 4 provides any taxes which are paid other than SGST, CGST and IGST. In short, any tax payment made under GST shall not be included in the transaction value. Over and above this, all the taxes are to be included in the transaction value. Now clause 5. Clause 5 says expenses incurred by supplier before supply and charged separately. If I am supplying certain goods and I have incurred certain expenses on those goods and I am charging those expenses separately, then that has to be added in the transaction value. Suppose मैंने उसके ऊपर कोई ट्रीटमेंट कराया और वो ट्रीटमेंट का मैंने कुछ एक्सपेंसेस बेयर किया, लेकिन जो वैल्यू ऑफ गुड्स है उसमें उसको ऐड नहीं किया और सेपरेट उसको चार्ज किया, तो जो भी मैं सेपरेट चार्ज कर रहा हूं दैट विल बी एडेड इन द ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू. तो दिस इज क्लॉज 5. क्लॉज 6, subsidy realized by supplier on the supply. If I am making any supply and I am getting subsidy on that, then that subsidy also shall be included in the transaction value. Reimbursement claimed separately by a supplier. If any reimbursement I am claiming as a supplier from the recipient, then that value also has to be included in the value of transaction. And last clause is discount allowed after supply except when known before supply. If I am offering any discount after the supply of goods or services, other than that discount which was known before the supply, it means कि अगर सप्लाई करने से पहले मैंने कोई डिस्काउंट ऑफर कर दिया था या मुझे पता था कि ये डिस्काउंट मुझे देना है, तो ये डिस्काउंट का वैल्यू इंक्लूड नहीं होगा ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू में. लेकिन अगर मुझे पता नहीं था बिफोर द सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज दैट दिस इज द अमाउंट ऑफ डिस्काउंट विच आई एम गोइंग टू पास ऑन, and I came to know about the discount only after the supply was made, then such value has to be included in the taxable or transaction value. So in short, what does it mean? That any discount allowed as a normal trade practice and reflected on the face of the invoice shall not be included. अगर भाई लिखा है मैंने कि अगर 30 दिन के अंदर आप कैश में पेमेंट कर देते हो तो आपको 2% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा, अगर आप 7 दिन में पेमेंट कर देते हो आपको 4% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा, तो वो आपको पहले से पता है सप्लाई करने से पहले, तो वो इंक्लूड नहीं होगा सर ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू में. लेकिन आपको पता नहीं है और बाद में आपने सप्लाई कर दिया एंड उसके बाद आपने कोई डिस्काउंट ऑफर किया उसको, देन दैट वैल्यू ऑफ डिस्काउंट शुड बी एडेड इन द ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू. सो लेट मी टच अपॉन ऑल दीज 8 points once again. First was any amount paid by recipient which was obligatory for the supplier to pay. Second is money value of the goods or services which are supplied by the recipient either free of cost or at concessional rate. Third is royalty or license fee payable by the recipient as a supply condition. Fourth is taxes levied under any other law other than SGST, CGST or IGST. Fifth is expenses incurred by supplier before the supply of goods or services and charged separately. Sixth is subsidies related to the supply. Seventh is reimbursement claimed by the supplier separately. And eighth is discounts offered after the supply which were not known before the supply. So these are the 8 clauses which are provided under subsection 2 of section 15 of the model GST law, which are to be included in the transaction value determined under section 1 of the section 15. So my dear friend, this was subsection 2 of section 15. Now let us move towards subsection 3. Subsection 3 we have already covered, because whatever discounts were known prior to the supply and are in normal trade practice and included in the face of invoice, such discount shall not be included in the transaction value. That we have already touched upon. Now let us move towards the last subsection of this section 15, which is section 4. Now before moving towards section 4, I would like to mention few things here. There are going to be certain terms which are very relevant and very crucial to understand subsection 4 as well as the whole valuation, and those terms we will be touching upon in next part, that is part 6, where we will be discussing on the valuation rules prescribed under the model GST law, that is determination of value of supply of goods and services rules 2016. So in next part, that is part 6 of knowledge series of model GST law, we will be discussing the rules prescribed under the model and the important terms such as consideration, which is defined under clause 28 of section 2 of the model GST law, the term related persons, which is described under clause 82 of section 2, all these things which are going to be very relevant, and some of the examples will be touching upon in next part. In this part, to save the time and to have a basic understanding, I am touching upon section 4, rather subsection 4 of section 15, which deals with those situations wherein a transaction value under subsection 1 of section 15 cannot be determined. So in short, subsection 4 of section 15 is applicable in those cases where the transaction value under subsection 1 of section 15 cannot be determined. So there are 5 aspects or 5 situations mentioned under subsection 4 where the law provides that the transaction value will not be determined under subsection 1 and it will be determined under the valuation rules prescribed. So clause 1 of subsection 4 of section 15 provides the consideration, whether paid or payable, is not money wholly or partly. This is सब क्लॉज 1, जहां पे कंसिडरेशन जो है वो या तो पैसे में नहीं है या फिर पैसे में है तो पूरी तरीके से पैसे में नहीं है, यानी सम पार्ट इज देयर इन मनी एंड सम इज इन सम अदर मोड, मे बी सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज, या फिर कंसिडरेशन मनी में है ही नहीं, दैट इज कंप्लीटली बार्टर सिस्टम. सो इन दिस टू सिचुएशंस, that is completely barter system or partially in money and partially in supply of goods or services, the transaction value shall be determined as per the valuation rules prescribed and not as per subsection 1, that is the transaction value. I am not going into detail in this part of the knowledge series because this is going to take much of the time and we need to discuss with few examples also. So we will be taking the entire subsection 4, all the clauses relating to it and the determination of valuation rules in next part. So subclause 2 of subsection 4 of section 15 provides the supplier and the recipients are related. तो सर जहां पे हमने पहले ही पढ़ा कि वहां पे 3 कंडीशंस होंगी अगर ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू है तो, पहला कि साहब जो प्राइस पेड है या पेबल है किसी टैक्सेबल सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज के लिए, वो दूसरा कि जो पर्सन जिनके बीच में ट्रांजैक्शन हो रही है वो रिलेटेड नहीं होने चाहिए, और तीसरा है वो प्राइस सोल कंसिडरेशन होनी चाहिए. दिस इज सबसेक्शन 1. आई बिलीव यू ऑल रिमेंबर दैट. तो वहां पे दूसरी जो कंडीशन थी कि दोज शुड नॉट बी रिलेटेड, दोज पार्टी शुड नॉट बी रिलेटेड. नाउ इफ दे आर रिलेटेड देन व्हाट विल हैपन? Even if they are related and there is no influence of their relation on the price of the transaction value, then also the valuation for them or for the transaction entered between them will not be determined under subsection 1 of section 15. It has to be determined as per the valuation rules prescribed. This is subclause 2. Subclause 3. Subclause 3 says there is a reason to doubt the truth or accuracy of the transaction value declared by the supplier. If I am a supplier and I have declared certain value of a supply of goods or services, and there is a reason of having a doubt on the truthfulness or on the accuracy of that particular transaction value, then also the valuation can be shifted to the valuation rules. Subclause 4. Subclause 4 says in case of special business transactions, that is business transactions by a pure agent, money changer, insurer, air travel agent and distributor or selling agent of lottery. In these special transactions, the valuation will be as per the valuation rules and not as per subsection 1, that is transaction value. I am repeating: pure agent, money changer, insurer, air travel agent and distributor और सेलिंग एजेंट ऑफ लॉटरी. ये सभी स्पेशल ट्रांजेक्शन्स में जो वैल्यूशन होगा वो वैल्यूशन रूल्स के हिसाब से होगा, ना कि ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू के हिसाब से. सब क्लॉज 5, विच इज द लास्ट सब क्लॉज ऑफ सेक्शन 4 ऑफ सेक्शन 15, इट सेज such other supplies as may be notified by the central or state government in this behalf on recommendation of the council. कोई भी ऐसी सप्लाई जो नोटिफाइड हो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा, जिसमें वैल्यूएशन रूल्स ही एप्लीकेबल किए जाएं और सबसेक्शन 1 के ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू एप्लीकेबल ना हो। ये 5 सब क्लॉजेज हैं सर। सो टू सम अप, subsection 1 of section 15 was dealing with the transaction value, that the value of supply of goods or services shall be the transaction value, and there were 3 conditions। पहला कि जो एक्चुअली पेड प्राइस है या फिर जो पेएबल प्राइस है वो प्राइस ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू होगी। दूसरा कि जिन लोगों के बीच में ट्रांजैक्शन एंटर हुआ है वो लोग रिलेटेड नहीं है। और तीसरा कि सोल कंसिडरेशन होना चाहिए ये जो प्राइस पेड और पेबल है। सब सेक्शन 2, इसमें 8 सब क्लॉजेज इन्होंने प्रोवाइड किए विच विल बी एडेड इन द ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू डिटरमाइंड अंडर सब सेक्शन 1। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर एज अ सप्लायर मुझे कुछ पेमेंट करना था और रिसिपिएंट ने पेमेंट कर दिया तो वो ऐड होगा। अगर कोई पोस्ट सप्लाई डिस्काउंट अगर है तो वो ऐड होगा। इस तरीके से 8 क्लॉजेस थे विच हैज टू बी एडेड, विच वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन डिटेल। सबसेक्शन 3 प्रोवाइड करता था कि अगर नॉर्मल कोर्स में, नॉर्मल ट्रेड पैरेलेंस में अगर हम कोई डिस्काउंट ऑफर करते हैं या फिर इनवॉइस के फेस पे लिखा हुआ है कि साहब 30 दिन के अंदर पेमेंट करेंगे तो इतना डिस्काउंट मिलेगा, देन दैट टाइप ऑफ डिस्काउंट शैल नॉट बी एडेड इन द ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू। एंड सबसेक्शन 4, it is divided into 5 sub clauses which provides that in these situations the transaction value under subsection 1 will not be applicable, and the valuation rule, that is determination of valuation of taxable supply of goods or services, rules 2016 will be applicable। तो 5 सिचुएशंस क्या है सर? पहली सिचुएशन जहां पे कंसिडरेशन पूरा पैसे में नहीं है, इट इज नॉट इन मनी और इट इज पार्टली इन मनी। दूसरा है जहां पे सप्लायर और रेसिपिएंट जो है वो रिलेटेड है। तीसरा है जहां पे ऐसा कोई रीजन है जिसकी वजह से ट्रूथ और एक्यूरेसी पे आप जो ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू है वो ट्रूथफुल नहीं है या एक्यूरेट नहीं है, ऐसा आपको डाउट है, एंड देयर आर रीजंस ऑफ सच डाउट। चौथा है जहां पे कोई स्पेशल बिजनेस ट्रांजेक्शन है, जैसे एज अ प्योर एजेंट आपने किए, एज अ इंश्योरर किए, एज अ सेलिंग एजेंट ऑफ लॉटरी किए या एयर ट्रेवल एजेंट किए, तो उन सिचुएशंस में आपको वैल्यूएशन रूल्स के अंदर में वैल्यूएशन करना पड़ेगा। और फोर्थ सब क्लॉज है जो रेजिडुअल है, आई वुड से, जहां पे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास पावर्स है ऑन रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ द काउंसिल दैट दे कैन डिटरमाइन और दे कैन मेंशन सर्टेन सप्लाईज which on the basis of notification will have to be valued only as per the valuation rules, and subsection 1 of section 15, that is transaction value, is not applicable to them. So my dear friends, in this part we have touched upon section 14 which deals with the time of supply or determination of time of supply of services where there is change in effective rate of tax, and we have also discussed section 15 which is again I would say which is one of the most important sections of model GST law, which relates to valuation of taxable supply. Since I want to keep the session or part not very lengthy, because this also is sent as a suggestion to me, so what I am trying to do is I am breaking this part here itself, and in next part, that is part 6 of knowledge series of model GST law, we will be discussing in detail the important terms which relates to valuation, that is related persons, consideration, barter, along with examples. We will touch upon each sub clauses of subsection 4 of section 15, and along with that we will also discuss in detail the determination of valuation or determination of value of taxable services, supply of goods and services, rules 2016 under the model GST law. Once again, I am thankful to each one of you for giving me the patience hearing, giving me encouragement to come out with these multiple parts of the knowledge series and to share whatever knowledge I have and to learn from you all, from your suggestions, from your inputs. I am very thankful to each one of you, and once again I promise you that within a duration of next 1 or 2 days we'll come out with part 6 of knowledge series on model GST law. Thank you very much.